What if everything you've experienced so far was merely a preparation for your real life's work? According to the monumental work of Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, the human psyche doesn't just age, it evolves. And there comes a pivotal turning point, often in the second half of life, where an entirely new level of consciousness becomes possible. This isn't a gradual improvement. It's a fundamental transformation. Jung called this process individuation, and it is the heart of a true great awakening. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The journey toward this awakening is not marked by a sudden blast of trumpets, but by a series of subtle yet unmistakable psychological signals. These are the signs that your deeper self is pressing toward the surface, urging you to shed the old skin of your conditioned identity. So, how can you tell if you're standing on this threshold? Let's explore the four most critical signs. The first, and often most disturbing sign, is a profound and pervasive sense of spiritual or existential homesickness. You look around at your life, your career, your relationships, your possessions, and while nothing is technically wrong, a quiet voice inside whispers, "Is this all there is?" This isn't ungratefulness. It's the stirring of a deeper hunger. The persona you've built to navigate the world, the mask you wear for society, begins to feel like a prison. The achievements that once defined you now feel like empty trophies. This restlessness is the initial crack in the shell, the first indication that your psyche is outgrowing its former container. Have you ever achieved a long-sought goal only to be met with a surprising emptiness? This leads directly to the second sign, a series of meaningful encounters with shadow. Your shadow, in Jungian terms, is the repository of all the traits, desires, and impulses you've been forced to repress to fit in. As you approach an awakening, this shadow material doesn't just stay hidden, it erupts. You might find yourself disproportionately irritated by certain flaws in others, a phenomenon Jung called projection. Or you might have intense, surprising dreams featuring dark, chaotic, or frightening figures. These are not bad omens. They are invitations. Your psyche is presenting you with the disowned parts of yourself, demanding integration. To become whole, you cannot just live in the light. You must make peace with your own darkness. This is perhaps the most challenging part of the journey. The shadow holds the key to your latent power. The third signal is a spontaneous emergence of powerful numinous symbols. Your unconscious mind begins to communicate in a language of images and archetypes. This most famously happens in dreams. You might start dreaming of wise old men or women, of sacred animals, of mandalas, or of embarking on a momentous quest. But these symbols can also appear in your waking life. You might find yourself inexplicably drawn to a specific mythological story, a piece of art, or a recurring number. Pay acute attention to these patterns. Jung believed these symbols are the guiding stars of the individuation process, emerging from the collective unconscious to provide a map for your transformation. They are the language of the soul, trying to give form to what your conscious mind cannot yet grasp. The fourth and final sign is perhaps the most mysterious, a feeling of being guided. As the ego's rigid control begins to soften, you may experience what Jung termed synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that seem too profound to be mere chance. You think of a long-lost friend, and they email you moments later. You stumble upon a book that contains the exact answer to a problem you've been wrestling with. The universe, or your own deeper psyche, begins to feel participatory. This is a hallmark that you are aligning with your true path. It's a shift from feeling like a solitary actor on a random stage to feeling like you are a participant in a meaningful unfolding story. This is the evidence that the self, the central archetype of wholeness, is taking the helm from the ego. If these signs are alive within you, it is crucial to understand what is being asked of you. This is not a time to panic or to forcefully try to return to a familiar past. That path is closed. The Great Awakening demands a conscious engagement with the unconscious. It requires you to listen to your dreams, to journal, to engage in active imagination, to have the courage to face what you have avoided. The discomfort you feel is the friction of growth. The fear is the natural response of an ego that knows its reign of total control is ending. Your best life, your most authentic chapter, is not a prescripted destination. It is a potential that emerges from within when you have the courage to undertake this inner work. The life you've known was the cocoon. What is being born now is the true individuated you. This is the promise of a Jungian awakening. To help others on this path of discovery, please like this video and subscribe to Winds of Thought. The most important journey is the one you take inward.